Hey, welcome back to book club. It's so nice to see you. Hopefully you've been having a really great week. Now the book we're going to be reviewing today is a fun book that I didn't think that I was going to get a lot of enjoyment out of when I purchased the book. The book that we are going to be reviewing today is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Like it's a delight, literally. So I really want you guys to go grab the book. It's been alive for 20 years. So that means that it's standing the test of time. And good literature, good music stands the test of time, right? So please go out and purchase that book, dog. Now, Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a legendary read, to say the least. Now, I didn't know how legendary the book was until I started doing some research on the author. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, he is one bad mama jamma, but he also has a heart. The idea to even purchase this book came from a little clip that was sent to me on Instagram by my really good friend, Deanna. So she sent me the clip because she knows how goal-oriented I am and how driven I am as a person. So she sent me this clip.
So he'd buy out this shop owner and buy that shop owner. And it took him a while, but he finally assembled this large piece of property. And then he and Hyatt put up this giant hotel.
You know,
it just sold for $800 million. So that's how I learned about money. I've had financial crashes. I've had people stab me in the back, but they're all good because I grow from it. That's spirituality. Right? You know, people who are afraid of making mistakes, like they teach in school, they don't ever grow. Because spirituality is there's good and there's bad. There's right and there's wrong. There's up and there's down. Most people only want to be right. They only want to be positive. Well, you can't have that. That's not reality. Well, I wasn't poor by most people's standards, but I came from a family with a poor attitude, if you know what I mean. Because rich, poor, middle class, poverty starts with a fundamental attitude. Poverty is passed on. It's taught in your families. And middle class is taught in families. And so the people right now who are sitting at home, who are struggling financially or worried about money or unhappy, they may be making a lot of money, but unhappy with what they're doing, it was probably taught to you. You know, your super ego was taught, get a job, work hard, or you'll never be rich, or the rich are evil, or whatever. The school system will never teach you about money. The school system was designed to teach you to be an employee, which is important, or a doctor or a lawyer, a specialist, but never about money. And what most people lack is real business knowledge, like accounting, you know, like debt, like taxes. You got to know that stuff, but they don't teach it in school to anybody. So, and then when people ask me, how did your rich dad learn this when your poor dad appears they didn't? And the answer is very simply, my rich dad, who's my best friend's father, his father died when he was 13. So rich dad had this family business at 13 to run. So he had to drop out of school, which was his blessing. You know, there's blessings, and you know, sometimes a blessing doesn't look like a blessing, but it turned out to be a blessing. And then his teachers became his bookkeeper, his accountant, his attorney, his banker, his real estate agents. So he has what I call real teachers, not these fake teachers in school. You see, most teachers in school, they're out of ethics. They teach subjects they themselves don't practice. I asked the teacher, I said, you know, I'm in my third year of calculus now. It was called strength of materials. I said, am I ever going to use this stuff? He goes, no. You know, I said, why do you teach it? He says, because I get paid. I said, do you ever use it? He goes, no. And that's why, you know, you have to, in life, One of the things I suggest to people, you got to find a real teacher versus a fake teacher. And a fake teacher is somebody who doesn't do what they teach. And a real teacher is doing what they teach every day. So my accountants, my attorneys, they're in it every single day. That's how I learn, because every day I'm solving problems in my business. So I have accountants and attorneys and bankers and all these people on speed dial because I'm solving problems with my team.
I see you giving this knowledge out, and
Yeah.
do the rich people cringe and say, "Don't tell them that, Rob"?
Yes. Don't tell people what you know.
Right.
Keep them poor. But unfortunately, the poor, as was in the Bible, I'm not real religious, the poor will always be amongst us because it starts up here.
Right. It's that fear mentality.
It's in their words, and the words become flesh. Again, I'm not really religious. I flunked out of Sunday school also. But when they say I can't afford it or I can't do that, they go down. They become what they say. My PhD daddy says, "What do you think I am, made of money? I can't afford that." And my rich dad would say, "That's why he's poor." Poor people say, "I can't afford it, I can't do that, I don't have time." Because this is an escape. It's an escape. You know what I mean? It's easy to say, "I can't afford it."
And your rich dad used to say what instead of "I can't afford it"?
How can I afford it? How can I do that? What would it take? Or why should I do that? He says that a question opens the mind, a statement closes the mind. See, when you say, "I can't afford it," your mind shuts down and you become what you say. Rugby is a team sport, but so is soccer. The rules are different. And other people are golfers. They play by themselves. And so everybody's different. So my game financially is business, number one. Second is real estate.
Now, this book is about financial literacy, but it doesn't go deep in the concepts of financial literacy. So it's not a textbook, right? I know that's probably what y'all thinking. Okay, Kaylin, literacy, financial, sounds boring. Absolutely not. No, it's not boring. It's not boring, I promise. I promise, it's not boring. It's a book that explains hardcore ideas and principles, but with humor. And also, it's accompanied by his life story. And his life story is really interesting, to say the least. Now, I don't want to give away all his good gems, and you should have been read the book. And if you didn't read the book, it's cool too. Just go out and buy it. Just read it on your free time. I promise you, it's going to help you along this good life, financially and spiritually. He always says that, "Oh, I'm not in religion. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, I'm not that." But principles in his book align with Christianity, and they align with who God is and what God is about. So I think he just doesn't know yet that he is into religion more so than not. Now, this is the first book of a series, right? A good series, and also of a board game. Now, I haven't purchased the board game just yet, but I am. And when I do, I'm going to review it for you, okay? Because I'm really looking forward to playing the game, because it's simply a game that will change your perspective, as well as this book, right? This book changes the perspective. It changes how you view finances, how you view money, how you use money, and how money is essentially using you if you don't use it in the right way. But essentially, Robert, his dad was quote unquote a poor dad. Now, his friend had the rich dad, but at the beginning of his life, it wasn't always like that, which was interesting. So his dad, at the beginning of his life, when he was a child, his dad worked. He had a PhD, he was making some money, right? He worked for money. He didn't have money work for him. He wasn't making enough money to be considered financially free right now in this day and age, right? So when I think of financial freedom, I think of the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it. You have no one that delegates your schedule, no one to tell you to come into work, no one to tell you to leave from work. You're making money passively. So while you sleep, you're making money. When you're up, you're making money. When you're at your kid's football game, you're making money. When you're going swimming in Dubai, you're making money. So Robert asked the first candidate, the best candidate, which is his dad, right? Asked his dad, "Okay, Dad, so, I'm trying to make serious money here. Like, how do I do it?" Dad said, "Listen, don't ask me, ask Rich Dad. Him then learning from Rich Dad came with a slew of problems. Now, Rich Dad, he owned some convenience shops around the town and also owned land. But of course, when he bought the land for cheap, it was a dirt town, but then it turned into the Mecca, right? So he sold the land for millions upon millions upon millions, and the figure is in the book. Again, you gotta get the book. Now, boom, Rich Dad is filthy rich, right? He runs an empire, and he's training his son, which is Robert's friend, up to then take over his empire. It gave me the picture of God was pouring into the Rich Dad's cup. Now, the Rich Dad's cup was overflowing, right? With tons of knowledge, tons of blessings, tons of money to then help his son and also his friend's son, right? So Robert, right, caught all of those wonderful blessings and wonderful nuggets of wisdom, and he became rich himself, financially free, of course. And his vehicle that he used was real estate. Now, it's a lot of ways you can get rich, a lot of ways you can become financially stable and wealthy, and it's a lot of different ways, but his vehicle was real estate. He likes real estate, and it's simple to him, right? It's not rocket science, he was saying. And I truly believe. I had my hand in real estate about a month ago. So if you haven't seen the video, please go check it out. I'll put a link right above me, so you can just click on it and go check it out. It was a doozy, to say the least, right? So he also drops a lot of gems on what the rich know that the poor don't, right? Poor and middle class don't. But I just want to review a couple highlights, a couple things in the book that made me say like, wow, right? So first, he breaks down what an asset is, he breaks down what a liability is, and the definition he uses is, if something makes you money, it's an asset. If it's causing you to lose money, then it's not an asset. And then sometimes people think homes are assets and cars are assets and things of that nature, but then he details an explanation on why a house isn't an asset. And I think it was super interesting, so purchase the book. Come on, get into it. But he is a man that believes in the rich focus solely on building their assets. So they find creative ways to build assets, to generate passive income, to bring in money while they're doing something else, right? So if you have to use your time to create money, right, you're trading your time for money, then you're continuously in a rat race. And that's what he said in his book. That's what he labeled it. You're continuously in a rat race, right? It's back and forth, fro and to, right? So instead of trading time for money, try to institute an asset that generates money. Now, it's a lot of ways to build your assets. Oh, in the book, he also has a list of the assets that we should be building now when we're young, right, in our 20s and 30s, and what we should be focused on probably later in life, right, what he has been focused on. And also, in his interviews, they're always so much fun to watch because he's so pro real estate, he's pro gold, he's pro silver, and he's so against stocks and mutual funds and like Roth IRAs. He's so against all of those things, and he tells you why, detailed in the interview, so you can go check that out too. He's a feisty young man. He's a feisty one, but neither here nor there. Next, he said this in the book and it blew my mind, right? Rich people own nothing, but they control everything, which is wild. Masterpiece said it again, right? When I was scrolling on Instagram, Masterpiece said that I don't own nothing. Nothing is in my name. I just control everything, okay? I have equity, okay? I have the power too, right? So that is such an intricate statement and fact that it defies everything that we've been brought up to think, right? Essentially, the owner's not even the owner. You know, they might have the most equity in the company. Right? They might, you know, but they don't solely own it. It's not in their name, so they don't own it, right? They just control it. And I also learned about that in wholesaling too. Wholesaling is more so, and if you haven't watched the video, I'm gonna put up another notification. You might as well go to it. But wholesaling basically is the buying and selling of contracts. Contracts, they allow you to control properties. So essentially you own the property, which is, it's just a testament to this statement. It's a testament to this fact. And this fact is such a solid fact that I didn't know of until I read the book. So let's get into it. Let's read it. Okay. Let's go next. The rich, right? It's something called business entities, and if you don't know, definitely, you know, pause the video, jump over to Google, type business entities. But they form their businesses as S corps. Their company is generating so much revenue that they can afford to become an S corporation. Now this S corporation comes with benefits. You can make money, and the money is tax-free, right? It's not taxed just yet when you're making the money. But then when you use that money on business essentials, that's okay, right? If you spend the money on business essentials first, and then you get taxed. So if you spend the money, you don't get taxed on the money that was spent. But if you don't spend the money, you let it sit, then you get taxed on the money that's sat. Rich folk, right? They buy homes in their business names. They buy flights in their business names. They buy cars in their business names. And then let's say if you made $1,000, okay, this is not a literal example, just a very simplistic example, so you can get what I'm saying, hopefully, because I don't know if you get me, how I'm laying it. But basically, say if you made $1 million, right? You then spent that $1 million in the company. You don't have the money to be able to be taxed, right? You don't have any money left over to give to the government, right? You don't have any money. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, government, sorry, right? But then in his book, he also tells us that people, business owners that provide commodities to the human race or the government's people, the government usually gives them incentives. Rich people focus on commodities, right? They try to build commodities. And when I say commodities, basically things that we absolutely need. So food, shelter, water, right? So he invests in real estate, right? In real estate, that's shelter, okay? But he also owns or controls, but he also controls a avocado farm, which is super, super funny. In one of his interviews, he said that he owns an avocado farm because he likes avocados. Just as simple as that, right? Because he does believe that you should love what you do. You should love the businesses that you decide to go into, because the love is going to push you forward. It's going to keep the interest alive. It's going to just help you when times get really tough and really hard. So he did say that, you know, do what you love and don't be afraid to do things that are hard, right? Don't be afraid to get rejected. Don't be afraid to get hung up on. Don't be afraid. See, and I'm talking to myself. Don't be afraid to public speak. Don't be afraid to help a coworker, right? It could be anything. Just don't be afraid to do the things that you really don't want to do, right? Because those things, I feel like, help you. When you look up the richest people on the planet or the richest people on earth, wow. Alice Walton, Jim Walton, Rob Walton. So they are the heirs of, or the children of, Sam Walton. He was the founder, creator of Walmart, right? Now, Walmart is a commodity, right? Literally, it's a retail space that provides commodity to everyday people, which is AKA grocery store, right? So the grocery store is literally a necessity. It's an essential business, right? It's probably the only thing that was open during the pandemic, right? Commodities don't go away, right? Humans will always need shelter, food, and water, simply, right? Like, those are something we definitely need and will always need. So let's go next. Financial intelligence is broken up into 4 different parts. 1, accounting. So you have to be able to read the numbers when they come in. And that's what money is, essentially. Numbers then create trends. So if you look at your bank statement and you analyze, you see how many times you go to Chick-fil-A, or you see how many times you go to Louis Vuitton, and then you can start drawing conclusions on, dang, I need to stop buying Louis Vuitton. Like, I need to get my whole life together. I need to stop eating out. I need to save that money so I can then invest that money. Which brings us to number 2, investing. Now, investing is a principle that not a lot of us are taught when we were younger. Well, me and in my community, we aren't really taught investing per se. But investing helps your money multiply. And I don't know about you, but addition is cool, subtraction is cool, but I want some stuff to multiply, okay? Quickly, please, quickly, you know. In the book, it says that investing is the science of making money. And we just have to study it and figure it out, right? Because we all aren't scientists. Come on. I know I'm not, but I do want to take the necessary steps to get there one day, right? Next, understanding markets. Basically, supply and demand. Understanding supply and demand, what people want, what people need, the gaps, right? Figuring out the gaps and how you can then fill those gaps. And once you fill the gaps and give the market exactly what they want, then you will continuously multiply indefinitely, simply. And then lastly, the law. Now, the law is really important because you don't want to be locked up in prison and jail because you didn't pay your taxes. Hello. You're not going to be able to multiply anything if you don't pay those. It's a lot of other state and federal regulations you have to go by when making tons of money or even making small amounts of money. If you make $50,000 a year as a freelancer, you're going to have to pay some type and form of taxes. And if you don't, they're going to come after you, simply, okay? He also tells a story, and this is probably my last highlight of the book, but he tells a story about the richest man on earth and how they, I think, nearly all committed suicide. But see, don't quote me, gotta read the book. Now, all, if not most of them, committed suicide, and that was just a point that he made in saying that money isn't everything, being wealthy isn't everything, being happy is a big part of it. Happiness and fulfillment doesn't come from money. Money is literally a trade, a system of trade. Back in the day, we used to trade camels, not camels, girl, in the desert, no. We used to trade donkeys, mules, you know, we used to trade people. Come on, slave trade. Ooh, but I'm not going to say, okay? Hello. But then, right, we started trading paper, currency, money. So money isn't everything. You have to have a balance, right? And me, personally, I love God and I love Jesus, and Jesus has been helping me, and he loves me and he loves you too. So personally, I believe that you have to have a spiritual life. Learn who God is and know how much he loves you so that can then feed your spirit spiritually. You have to have some financial literacy to help you financially. And then, come on, physically, you know, you gotta eat healthy, live healthy, breathe healthy, drink a lot of water, keep that skin popping, keep them organs moving and working and living, okay? You gotta do all of those things just to live a fulfilled, happy life, because clearly money's not gonna take you there, right? And no, I'm not a billionaire, but he knows a lot of billionaires, and he said suicide was among them, you know? So happiness is big. A balance of spirituality, financial literacy, and your physical health and wellness. A balance is important, right? So do all you can to grow financially wise, grow spiritually wise, grow mentally wise. Do all you can, but just know, if you do the best you can do, you have won, right? You have won. Give yourself a pat on the back, hug yourself sometimes, compliment yourself sometimes, celebrate yourself sometimes, because you're doing a great job. Life is hard. So if you're struggling, that's normal, right? If you're succeeding, that's extraordinary, okay? So celebrate yourself, pat yourself on the back. Drinking your allotment of water a day, that's an achievement, okay? Getting up out the bed, that's an achievement. Breathing, baby, I needed that. That's an achievement. Going after your dreams and goals, that's an achievement. Pat yourself on the back, celebrate you, because you know I do. You know I love you. Thank you so much for reviewing Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Tell a friend to purchase the book if you already have the book, or let somebody borrow your book, right? If you don't feel like, dishing out money again. But sharing knowledge is something that we have to do. Sharing knowledge will bring enlightenment and also bring happiness and wealth to us all. So just know, I love you, and I will see you at the next book club. See ya. That was good. Yeah.